Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty 360. I hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another edition of our Loyalty 360 Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. In this series, we talk to the brand leaders about what they're seeing and hearing on the front lines of customer, channel, and brand loyalty. Today, we have an amazing awards ceremony recap from 2020. We're talking to the amazing brands who did great work around customer loyalty in 2020. And today we have the pleasure of speaking with Jackie Harkness, who's the Senior Director of Loyalty Planning and Sponsorships at Air Canada, as well as Valerie Durand, who's the Director of Communication Optimization. I'll get that right. Sorry, that's a big word for the morning for me. And Air Canada recently won a Platinum Award in the Innovation in Corporate Social Responsibility category at the Loyalty 360 Awards ceremony in December, as well as a bronze in the Business Transformation category. So two great wins in some competitive categories, which is great to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. First off, what we like to do is like to get a little information, a little flavor about you, both of you. So, we'd love to kind of learn about you, what you do at Air Canada, and also maybe a fun fact that you may have, something you like to do, gaming. We had someone who was dropped off on the steps of a Korean monastery at 7 days old. So we have some fun ones. So, we like to do that. So maybe Jackie, you want to go ahead and kick it off and talk about you yourself, your role at Air Canada, and maybe a fun fact?
Sure, you bet. So my role is Senior Director of Loyalty Development and Sponsorship. So I'm responsible for bringing on all of our retail and everyday partnerships, which is a new aspect of the program that we're going to talk about over the course of the next few minutes. I've been at Air Canada for 4 years and started out in the brand team and relaunched the Air Canada brand and then most recently the Aeroplan brand. And I've always had sponsorships under my belt. Fun fact about me, my dad was actually a pilot for 35 years, so I've had a long love for the airline industry. And despite all its struggles and all the ups and downs that it inevitably shows, it's still one that I was so excited to join 4 years ago.
Well, that's awesome. That's great. And Valerie, what about you? Your role at Air Canada and a fun fact?
Sure. So my role is Director Communications Optimization. So what does that do? It oversees, our processes when it comes to communications, translation services, and so on. But more specifically for today, I am responsible for ESG reporting for the enterprise. So also leading the corporate social responsibility efforts and the philanthropy efforts of the company as we have a registered foundation, the Air Canada Foundation. So in a nutshell, that's my role. Fun fact about me. Well, aside from being a diehard Seinfeld fan, I have many lives at Air Canada, including being a lawyer, but also as a flight attendant. So I started with the airline in the 90s. So I just dated myself as a flight attendant. So I've seen many facets of the organization.
All right. I would ask the craziest thing you've seen as a flight attendant, but that's probably not appropriate for
many crazy things, but not for the record.
Right. So for those who may not be familiar with Air Canada, can you give us a short history of Air Canada, kind of what you guys do, how you do it, and your history would be great to know that.
Sure. So, obviously Air Canada's Canada's largest domestic and international airline. We're really known as the flag carrier. And in 2020, we were one of the top 20 airlines in the world. We like to say that we behave like an 83-year-old startup, but it's really true. We've always been focused on innovation, specifically for the topic of today. To give you a bit of a sense of our history, in the 60s, Air Canada was involved in the invention of the black box, the famous black box that we refer to for incident tracking on planes. And we also launched the very first computer reservation system in the world. We've recently relaunched a new passenger reservation system. Don't worry, we didn't replace the 60s version. We improved it over time, but we recently just launched an Altea enhanced customer experience and personalized service system. We were also the first North American carrier to cut off smoking on European flights. And, we were the first in North America to introduce electronic boarding passes, you know, those electronic boarding passes that you get on your phone or
Yeah.
with a barcode. So yeah, so that's, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I could go on, but I'll let maybe Jackie tell us a little bit more about our most recent transformation, which is our loyalty program.
So we've been on a journey. We purchased Aeroplan in 2019 to bring it back in-house. And the main reason was, first of all, in modern day, it's very strange to operate an airline and have the loyalty program outsourced. But bringing it back in-house basically allows us to have full access to our customer data, which allows us to deliver a better travel experience to them. So we've now, since November 9th, rolled out a better redemption benefit partnership value equation for our members. And in order to do this, we basically did 36,000 interviews with Canadians across the country to understand what were their biggest pain points of the former Aeroplan travel program, but also what were in general travel loyalty programs, hotel programs, credit card programs. What were some of the bigger pain points and what would they like to see? And we did that across 38 competitive programs as well in retail, travel, and financial on all 5 continents. So a lot of effort's gone into the new program, and so far initial feedback is good, despite the fact that there isn't that many people traveling. For those that are, they have given us indication that they like the program just as much as we do. In particular, like 4 things have bubbled to the top that they love. So access to every seat on Air Canada. We've removed any carrier imposed surcharges, and basically we've introduced family sharing and micro redemptions.
Okay, great. Lots of great innovation, and obviously great to hear that you moved the program back in-house. Can you talk a little bit about the Aeroplan member donation program? It was a big part of what led to Air Canada winning the Platinum Award. Can you tell us a little bit about it and how you put the program together?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's a program that has a really, really deep and rich history. It was launched initially in 2006. And what this program does, it provides a platform, right, for Aeroplan members to donate to Canadian nonprofit organizations. So, you know, if you're an Aeroplan member, you can go on aeroplan.com/donate, and you can donate your points to organizations like Médecins Sans Frontières or Doctors Without Borders, I should say, Second Harvest, the Breakfast Club of Canada, Stephen Lewis Foundation, or Miles for Migrants. I mean, there's over 300 on there. So it's really tailored to what the customers want to give towards. You know, it's kind of agnostic in the sense that any charity can join the program. And so therefore the Aeroplan members really have a wide variety of organizations to choose from. And what this does is that by donating their points, it helps these organizations offset their costs, you know, whether it's general operating costs or even including costs related to travel. So, you know, to give you a sense, you know, since its inception, Aeroplan members have donated over 1.3 billion points on the platform. And in 2020, we've had over 150 million points donated by Aeroplan members who were very generous. And so, you know, obviously, you know, it's never been, with COVID, it's never been more important to support charities and communities in need. And obviously, you know, I'll address the elephant in the room. I mean, our industry is in crisis, and that doesn't exclude Air Canada, unfortunately. But, you know, we found a way to help in a meaningful way by leveraging our assets and our expertise. And we did that with this Aeroplan donation platform and with the loyalty program and the loyal members that we have on board. And what we did, you know, for the COVID relief specifically and the Travel at Home campaign, is we bolstered the program with the expertise of the Air Canada Foundation and some of its key partners that respond to humanitarian needs and critical situations. So we were able to build, you know, really a tailored program for the specific needs that were emerging very quickly during COVID. So we were able to pivot that very quickly using the assets we already had, the donation platform, and bring all of our expertise together to launch this program. We're very proud of it.
Okay. And the Travel at Home campaign, I think it's composed of 3 different phases. Each one has its own charitable contribution component. Can you tell us a little bit about that campaign and kind of the social value it brought to Air Canada?
Sure, sure. So, when we think about our social responsibility as a brand, as a company, we really look at it through the shared value component. So what we did for the Travel at Home campaign, you touched on it, Mark, is it had 3 specific phases. So the first one, was a humanitarian phase where we raised, we used our platform and our communication channels to raise awareness on the growing needs and provide support. The second phase was mental health. And so we made sure that through that phase of the campaign, members also had the ability to donate to mental health organizations. And then the third phase was food security, which is obviously a growing and lasting need in Canada and throughout the world, obviously. And through that phase, the members had the opportunity to donate to charities that are focused on food security. So the campaign ran from April 20th to May 31st, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Jackie can kick me under the virtual table if that's not right. And just during those specific dates, we've had over 80 million miles donated. So people were very generous and very engaged, obviously. Okay. And so we did that while keeping the members engaged, while building their loyalty and keeping their loyalty active, if I may say.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Travel loyalty programs like Aeroplan, kind of challenging right now. Travel's definitely off, and you've heard varying kind of estimates of when it's going to return. How do you stay relevant during a time when travel's put on hold? I think you're working more focused on kind of keeping your customers engaged. How are you doing that? And where do you think and when do you think travel may rebound as well? It's kind of secondary question to that.
Yeah, that's a great question, Mark. I'll answer the latter and then move in maybe to the first. The latter of when we expect demand to return, sort of ever changing, with the second wave currently hitting Canada and with the variants. I think we've delayed our expectations to more of a late Q2, Q3 timeframe, whereas we were hoping for more of a Q1, Q2. But hey, it offers us more opportunities to continue engaging our members while they're at home, basically rewarding them, finding ways to reward them for staying at home with their families. So that's really our focus right now. And the Travel at Home campaign was designed on this very thing. So basically providing them a diverse set of new earning and redemption opportunities. And in fact, for the first time, being able to enable them to achieve status while they're at home, frankly, just based on activity with the program. And they can use that status, whenever they do return to the skies, hopefully in the latter half of 2021. So we continue to roll out everyday opportunities too. That's in fact my new role since basically COVID hit, is to go out and find partners where you interact with their brands on a daily basis, from when you get coffee to potentially ordering food delivery, to going grocery shopping, to buying the red wine that you mentioned that your wife likes. Those are all opportunities for us to reward our members for shopping at partners of ours. And we have more announcements to come in 2021 that will focus on that. So it's an exciting part of our evolution.
One thing I think you guys did a really good job with, based on what we saw from others, kind of time that you had to rapidly pivot, right? And it seems like the Air Canada, the marketing, the product team, kind of the offering team did a really good job of pulling together these offers and making sure that they were not only compelling, but that they worked, right? Because that was a big challenge we heard from a lot of brands who were members of Loyalty 360 is making some of the challenges in technology could be very difficult, and bringing Aeroplan in obviously helps that. How did you guys coordinate all of this so effectively and stay focused and execute so well?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think in the same theme of bringing Aeroplan in-house, we've actually brought a lot of other teams in-house too. So we brought our IT team, we brought some of our HR functions in-house. We created our first ever studio. So we have now production, design, copywriting services in-house. And that's been a process over the last couple of years, but it's allowed us to stay far more nimble. So it also allows, you're working with Air Canada employees who are obviously fully dedicated to the brand and to the business. And that ensures that the message is consistent across those teams, that we have, more of a coordinated, cohesive effort. Our industries, as Val mentioned, has been hit really hard, but it doesn't restrict us from being, innovative and have a constant flow of new ideas. And with this new in-house capabilities, we're able to be really nimble and turn around based on what we think our members and what we are hearing from our members are interested. We're able to deliver that within days or weeks instead of, the typical planning period of months or perhaps years.
Okay. A lot of discussion right now around emotional loyalty. We just finished our first industry report. Did I cut someone off?
No, I was just agreeing with you completely.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of discussion around emotional loyalty, and we just finished our first industry report. Very important, I think, in travel. Travel tends to be very experiential and obviously emotional, kind of that aspirational piece. What does emotional loyalty mean to the travel industry, to Air Canada, and also how do you kind of grow that and measure that as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So how we see it at Air Canada is in the form of customer centricity. And over the past 4 years, we've completely redone our corporate culture to be focused on customer centricity, which wasn't, I think we moved from more of an operational mindset to more of a customer mindset. And the loyalty program is one of the last steps in that process. And so for us, loyalty rhymes with a lasting relationship with our customers. But more importantly, it means being anchored in the Canadian values of trustworthiness, of warm and empathetic. And that's unique, obviously, to our brand at Air Canada. So for Aeroplan, we're taking that and then trying to win over the hearts and minds of our customers with the addition of the more qualitative parts of our brand, that warm empathy, with also the price, quality, and the performance of the actual loyalty program.
Okay. Emotional loyalty can be kind of a bane or a curse, a bane or a benefit, say. I gotta get these right today. A lot of people say it's great to have that really engaged, that loyal customer, but that it can be, the expectations can be higher. How do you guys look at emotional loyalty? Is it something good for you? Do you have kind of or is does it set the bar higher and kind of pushes you to excel?
Totally, Mark. 100%. It pushes us to be on the tip of our toes at all times. As you know, status members are some of our most, engaged member base, and they influence a lot of the product innovations and decisions that we go around. In addition to also the leisure travel segment, which is incredibly important to us and has driven the innovations in that everyday engagement, and also in the donation program. That is, for a lot of our members, having a meaningful brand experience is really key for them. So we see that this, those passionate connections to our brand from our status and everyday members allows us to further our corporate sustainability efforts, and it aims on, getting people to travel more and often, but better through Aeroplan. So the best proof point of the incredible value of a program such as Aeroplan is to have our members share their experiences with us. And in our new program, that's a far easier ability for them based on the new CRM platform that we have, and sort of more of a two-way conversation with our members.
Okay. A lot of discussion right now about customers changing. We hear that in all different verticals, right? And they were changing before COVID, moving more towards experiential and kind of understanding the different kind of demographics and what their expectations are. How are your customers changing, maybe pre-COVID, but after COVID? And how do you see that going forth? And then how do you manage that?
Well, I think I'll answer from a social purpose point of view, from a social responsibility point of view. I mean, you know, when you think about it, social injustice has always been a concern. And as the world is quickly evolving, you know, more and more, you know, we have to confront the harsh realities of unequal world, excuse me, and an unequal landscape. So, you know, we've seen, you know, what's interesting though is that, you know, we're noticing more and more awareness. We're more aware of our inequalities within. You know, we saw it recently with the Black Lives Matter movement, obviously, but I think we as Canadians have become more and more aware over the past couple of years that not everybody's on the same equality scale, unfortunately, in Canada. You know, when you think about, you know, the realities of the indigenous communities, or when you think about the amount of kids that don't have access to breakfast every day, right? So, you know, our customers and our employees want to help, and I think this really truly speaks about what it means to be Canadian, and our values of altruism and generosity. So, you know, how do we as a brand, you know, see our customers changing? I mean, we see this deep connection to the Canadian values. And obviously, as the flag carrier, we are extremely well positioned to represent those Canadian values and live and breathe them every day. And so that's how we evolve, right? Like we stick to that core, and we evolve with it.
Okay. When you look at the success of your customer loyalty efforts, how do you measure kind of the effectiveness, some of the KPIs you use to measure customer loyalty and customer experience?
Yeah, I'll take this one. We look at series of qualitative and quantitative measures. Strong belief that engagement and satisfaction will drive transactional behavior with more of our everyday opportunities to earn and redeem. So some of those metrics are along activity rates. Some of them are cross category activities. Certainly time to redemption and membership size evolution is key for us. And then, of course, we measure program satisfaction and perception.
What is membership size evolution? I've never heard that one before.
Oh, sure. So if you think about Aeroplan's journey, you know, we purchased the program in 2019, but for the last couple of years, we've been focused on redoing our tech stack. And so we haven't invested in going out and building new partnerships, or we haven't put those in market yet. And we have been focusing on redoing our credit card as well. So our co-brand credit cards. With both of those now complete, we can expect that the membership size will grow as new partners come on board, and certainly as the new travel credit cards, which you know, are currently winning awards as recently as 2 days ago, are going to, you know, help to propel our membership size forward.
Okay, great. What is the next big thing for customer experience for Air Canada?
Yeah, so I would say now that we've made the massive investment in the tech stack and we've launched this revitalized value prop, we are looking to optimize the member experience through personalization and new product innovation. And those are going to be rolled out in 2021 and 2022. And then we're bringing more of these everyday partners into the fold. So more engagement opportunities. People won't have to go very far in order to earn and redeem Aeroplan points, you know, in increments as small as $10.
Okay. The competitive set, obviously, a big competitive set, both domestically in Canada and internationally. You know, how are you different than the competitive set? I can tell you, the corporate social responsibility efforts that, you know, won the award are very interesting to see, and I think that differentiates you versus a lot of the competitors, at least in America, and to have an audience that's willing to donate so much to charitable cause organizations is huge, because that's not something we see with most programs. Most brands really struggle around CSR and how to get it to work, and it's great to see that. But, you know, how are you different than your competitor set, and you know, what do you see other brands doing to maybe try to keep up with you?
Yeah, so I would say, you know, what Val's doing in the CSR space is incredible, and we're thrilled, obviously, that the loyalty program can bring in more members into what Air Canada is doing in the community. And that deep partnership is something that we're super proud of. And we obviously want to continue focusing on deep partnerships. And though it's more business focused, obviously our co-brand credit card partners. So we have 3 banks in Canada and 1 bank in the States. We've got TD, CIBC, and Amex here in Canada, and then we've got Chase in the US. We really feel like those allow us to differentiate from our competitors instead of sticking with just 1 bank. There's the appeal is larger. There's something for everyone, everything from, a basic entry card to a more premium card. And so it allows us to offer also unique benefits to members that might not be flying regularly, but when they do fly, they'd like to fly as if they had some of the highest status tiers from some of our more frequent flyers. And then we also have integrated things like unique benefits for our members this year. So Manulife COVID insurance was something that we applied. So basically, if you redeemed a flight, you got COVID insurance, which allowed you, if you were traveling and you got COVID while you were traveling, you would be protected no matter where you were. So those are just some of the, unique things that I think we are doing that differentiates ourselves from our competitors.
That's great. That's great to hear.
And from, if I may add, I think from a CSR point of view, I mean, I touched on this a little bit as a flag carrier, we act and we live and we breathe as the flag carrier. This is represented in our brand values or brand identity. And I think, in terms of CSR, what we did over the last couple of years, we went back to the basics. We asked ourselves, what are we about? Like, what is our social purpose? And when you think about it for Air Canada, we value hospitality, empathy, safety, and care. And, when you think about our identity, I mean, we have a very diverse workforce. We look after the health and wellness of others. We contribute strongly to the development of our communities in Canada and abroad. And that includes also preserving the environment. And interesting also is we are also the only North American carrier that is championing the official languages. And that's, our bilingualism efforts is something that really sets us apart from an identity point of view against our carriers. So, from an overall brand point of view, I would say that, sticking to our basics is fundamentally sticking to our basics is very important and will propel us going forward into our future efforts as well.
Great. And the last question I have is, what can Loyalty 360 do to help you in your customer loyalty journey?
Well, I'll welcome Jackie on her views, but obviously, we're always focused on continuous improvement, and what 360 can do, Loyalty 360 can do is it can help us exchange with various voices in the industry and outside our industry, so that we can look at across all those multiple verticals and continuously look for new ideas to fuel innovation. So, obviously exchanging best practices and looking at ways to renew membership value from the membership angle is important to us. And, obviously we see these areas as potential for us to keep working together.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for that. Jackie, did you have any feedback there?
I was just going to say that, Mark, you guys being, focused in the United States, although you obviously have international, brands that you are connected to on a daily basis, I think it's just exposure beyond the Canadian market. Though we obviously have all worked and lived abroad, we are still in Canada. And so I think that global and certainly US perspective that you guys bring is always really important to our business.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you both for taking the time to talk with us today. It's always great to get a touch base, catch up with our friends at Air Canada, and look forward to hearing more from you in 2021.
Awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Merci.
Perfect.